So it's gonna be one of them ones, huh? Hey guys, welcome back to John Rule 16. I am your host Javon, and today we're back for a brand new benchmark. There's a Silent F for the PC. Today running this on my Intel Core i3-10105 with the AMD RX Vega 64, 8GB VRAM graphics card. I'm running with 32GB of DDR4 RAM and dual channel memory, and I'm going crazy right now because this game is actually quite optimized. You know, I saw it was running on the Series S, and I went, huh, maybe. But the Steam specs lied to me because they're like, hey, you need an RX 5700 for a bare minimum. And this ain't that much faster than 5700. So I'm like, I don't know about this. But as you can see, I'm running at 1080p Ultra right now. I'm pretty much running on the highest preset just to test it at the beginning. It's doing its job, dude. It's great. It's not bad. So this is native 1080p. Obviously, we're using TSR with, actually, no, it's not, it's TSR quality. So we're going to change that to FSR quality. And with FSR quality, we are getting over 30 FPS on average. I'm going to bring up my, as soon as I remember how to do that. Yeah, so this is 1080p Ultra, basically, with FSR set to quality. And we are hitting over 30 frames per second. That is impressive. That is impressive, okay? Right off the bat. So this is as there. I haven't noticed. I've played a lot further into the game. I haven't noticed any stutters or anything of that nature. The game runs fine. Now my Vega 64 is having a field day. Like, and you can, if you can hear the fans, it's like, I'm dying, boss, help me. But other than that, I've noticed, like, I was playing this game and I was running about 100 watts of it, and I was getting a locked 30 frames per second with decent settings. For what it's worth, you could play the game like this. I wouldn't, because once again, my GPU is getting really loud, but this is pretty decent. Now we're gonna run it into town real quick because once again we're getting the 30 FPS. I wouldn't recommend running this game like this. We will change some settings, obviously. Like, we're not gonna continue to do ultra. That ultra is just ridiculous. Okay, don't do ultra in games nowadays. Especially you have like a Vega 64. Lumen Epic, no. Let's put Lumen to high. Let's turn reflections to screen space because that's just ridiculous. Let's do the high preset instead. We're gonna move from very high. I do not recommend doing the very high preset. So this is the high preset now. Let it load back and everything. And just like that, at 1080p high with the FSR set to quality, we are getting over 60 FPS. I mean, this is pretty good. Hey, that's pretty good. Once again, we are going to try to run it into the town now of Silent Hill just to make sure, but it looks great. The fidelity is very high for this game. Like, even her here, you can see there's not a lot of shimmering going on there. At least 1080p. It looks good. Let's once again carry back the capture high settings. Don't worry, I will go down to low as well. We're gonna go all the way down. We're doing 1080p. I wouldn't recommend any lower than quality though. I mean, quality is fine. I wouldn't recommend doing anything lower than quality. I think quality is fine for this. We can do high, medium. Oh, we're gonna cutscenes are at 30 FPS, so obviously things are gonna drop when you hit a cutscene. So we're gonna skip those because they aren't really gonna help me in any way. Okay, so we're in the town now and performance is actually a lot higher. That's interesting. Loading crevice. Let's see how the loading crevice handles it. Once again, this is 1080p high with FSR set to quality. I normally don't play games without FSR nowadays. You're probably wondering why don't you test it without FSR. I could turn it off for a second just to show you guys, but I do recommend FSR when you're playing games nowadays, especially if you have something like this. You need the extra frame rate, and this looks almost native even right now. Like, I can, if you told me this was quality, I wouldn't be able to tell. But just for a brief second, we'll turn off FSR. Let's just keep it at FSA. Give it a second. Yep. I'll be honest, with FXAA, I can see the shimmering. I can see the shimmering a bit more. Actually, I can actually see the shimmering a bit more with FXAA. Yep. Look at her here texture. Ooh. Yeah, no. FSR is definitely for the win here. What about TA? TA is better. The flickering is gone for the most part. There is a bit of breakup behind when you're going around her, but other than that, that's pretty good. And once again, this is 1080p high without FSR. This is a great experience. I'm gonna have a field testing this on the other GPUs. This is very, very well done. Shout out to these. Who developed this again? For an Unreal Engine 5 game. This is nice. Anyway, let's get further into when stuff really starts to hit the fan. Like obviously the set pieces and whatnot, because it'll get a bit more demanding in a second. So let's just get into the next cutscene. We're going up to 15 gigabytes of RAM. Man. Having 16 gigabytes of RAM, dude, I think we're running out of that in 2025. Let's skip through this. Right, we're gonna pause here because I'm already dipping below 60 here. We're gonna put back on FSR quality. So even FSR here, okay, so with everything happening now, as you can see with everything happening, the frame rate is dipping down below. So we're gonna go down to medium now. Lumen high. Indirect lighting, it's not really easy. We're gonna keep textures on high, but everything else is gonna go down to medium. And we're gonna keep FSR quality. I don't really want lumen on, so we're gonna turn off lumen here. Obviously lumen is probably the most demanding thing you're gonna deal with. Lumen is very demanding, but we're gonna do medium basically. We're turning off indirect lighting. We're gonna keep on screen space reflections. Texture quality is gonna be kept to high, and we're gonna keep FSR quality on. Let's give it a sec to load in. I actually think I messed up there by doing that while the CPU we were doing that type of chase. Okay, let me just get through this chase first. There were so many cutscenes in between there. Yeah, so I'm waiting a second just until we get through this. No way! I got caught by something again. This chase is quite intense. There's a lot of shifting right now with the cutscenes. Yeah, I'm trying to skip those. There's a lot of shifting with the cutscenes right now. Okay, so that's done. So when that happens, the frame rate tanks like crazy. But actually, now that we're back to medium, it's alright. So this is the medium preset now. With FSR set to quality, we're getting back to over 80 FPS. We're getting over 80 FPS. It still looks great at 1080p medium. Dude, with FSR quality, there is no shimmering on her here. That's awesome. What's happening now though is I don't think I'll go to low because what's happening is I'm running into a CPU bottleneck. I've shown you that we don't actually need to do any more lower than this, but running into a CPU bottleneck is not necessarily the greatest thing in the world. We're gonna keep going though, for sure. There's so much happening here. And we want to see how the game performs during the Hellish Scape world with all the flowers, red flowers as well. They're not really around yet. They'll be in a second. I think I'm like at the third, like if you count it, I'm like the third chapter of this game. So the Vega 64 has impressed me. So 1080p high with FSR quality is good. That that scene just there was very intense, like, but I don't think most of the game isn't that intense. Trust me. I've played, like I said, I've played a bunch of this. Okay, so this is the first enemy that's about to spring here with us. He light work. Don't worry about it. He light work. They light work. Don't worry about it. They light work. Once again, this is 1080p medium we're at right now. If FSR set to quality. I ain't worried. Get him up out of there. But yeah, the way this is going, I don't actually recommend this. So we're gonna go back up to high, and I'm gonna try some settings here now where I think I'll do my best config for this. So obviously we'll keep that there. Post processing can go back up to high. Texture quality will stay at high. Shadow quality will go down to low. We're gonna keep this like this. Screen space reflections. Visual effects will go back to high. View distance will go back to high for now. And we're gonna leave it like this. I think that this is pretty solid. Let it load in. Oh wow, you know what? No, I forgot. With shadows, when you do shadows low, it really starts to look bad. Yeah, I don't recommend doing shadows low. You can definitely see it takes away from the overall world. I'm also curious about the indirect lighting now because of that. No, that's not noticeable. But it didn't really affect anything, so we're fine. So, okay, I'll keep this for right now, at least, until we actually start anything else anyway. So, 100% indirect lighting is lumen high. We will turn that off if anything gets way too demanding. We're using screen space reflections. We're not using lumen for the reflections. That's ridiculous. Shadow quality is at medium because it looks terrible at low, but medium, it retains most of its fidelity. Texture quality is at high. We have the 8 GB of VRAM. Shader quality is at medium. Visual effects quality is high. Post processing is at high. And view distance is at high. With FSR set to quality at 1080p, this is more than enough to get over 60 FPS with the Vega 64 for the majority of the game. Of course, there will be some outliers, but for the most part, like I said, the majority of the game, it will run at over 60. I'm just trying to get into some combat here real quick to see what's happening. And then we'll move from there. I got you. Get him out the way. Let's get that mass. Let's get that mass. Come on. When you're ready. Oh, you already swinging. Too bad. I don't know. I don't know why you swinging like. Ow. Oh, come on. You can't hit me in a cutscene. That's cheating. Get him out the way, guys. Get him out the way. I do like how they started this game, where I just simply run from them. That's nice to me. I find that interesting. Uh, like I said, I told you I was a bit further, but I'm gonna save here just in case. I'm just trying to get into the combat scenario here, situation. We're almost there. And here we are. Okay, so we're going to get into combat now. Get him out the way. And just like that, that's fine. Once again, still over 80 frames, dude. This is practically 1080p high if I set the quality. Get him out the way. Okay, so the frame rate is going down again. Like I said, I'm just trying to get back to the flower area, where crap can get really demanding in that regard. But other than that, this is going really well. We are still hovering over 60. I don't believe we'll be able to maintain 60 here. But yeah, this is doing decent. Okay, so we're back. Okay, so these are the flowers now. This is what I was worried about. And for what it's worth, it seems like it's handling it very well. The next area is a very different place to this. There's a lot of devoid. It's a devoid of a lot. So it's kind of unfortunate that this is the only place the flowers are. But yeah, because in combat now here, and are you kidding me? You kidding me? In combat now, the frame rate is gonna dip a bit. That has to kill you, right? Yeah, I know. Okay, so this is the best time to check this actually, because like I said, in a second the combat it's gonna get a bit different, hectic here in a second. So this is actually the best place. Now, can we do FSR balanced and get 60? No, still a struggle. Interesting. So even with FSR balance, you see, here is becoming a bit demanding. I'm running around simply so that I can test some settings, guys. Just bear with me. We love this. Yeah, so even with FSR, let's see, performance maybe? It's not really doing much, I'll be honest. In certain areas, it's getting better than others, but more than likely what's happening is there's a setting here that's a bit too demanding for this. Is it the lumen? No, it's not. I love doing this when I do in-depth like this, so we can actually get through everything together. This is great. Is it visual effects and post-processing? Nope. They have no effect. Once again, it could be simply that I'm running into a view distance, maybe. I'm running into, simply put, a... Because there is a good possibility I'm just running into a bottleneck. A very silly one, but it seems to be the case here in this scenario. Because nothing is really changing. I'm getting the same performance I was getting before. Even if I turn off both of these. It does look worse though. I'm actually losing performance. What the hell? What about screen percentage for some reason? How interesting. I wonder if it's just this area. I didn't want to turn off shadows. Shadows is the only thing I didn't want to touch. Oh no. Okay, so yeah, it's this area. I can't, for some reason, this area here, it won't let me hit 60. And that was retrying with practically every setting. But that's fine. Because what I can do now is go to the title screen and check. Because I have literally a save right here. Where was the save? Which one was it? Which one was it? This one. I have a save. And then we're going to end the video. Wait. Oh crap. Wrong. That's the wrong one. My bad. That's the wrong one. My bad, my bad, my bad. Right, these are autosaves. What am I doing? Head to Ringo's house. There you go. That's the one. There you go. Okay. So this is better. So this is the area as well now. Without any enemies. Yeah, so there's definitely a bottleneck happening here somewhere. My GPU is not even using its full wattage anymore. Let's see, if I stand here, it's hitting 60 frames per second. If I run down a bit, so that more pops in, it's still holding over 60. It is holding over 60 here. So I guess with the enemies, it adds a bit much, because it is dipping a bit. But other than that, this has been an interesting test for Silent Hill F. We're going to go down to performance. Let's see what performance does for me. What's performance looking like? So even with the TSR, you see what I mean? We're still hitting only 60 FPS. So now we are utilizing the full GPU, but it's still not. Oh wait, let's turn that off. Yeah, so you see we're utilizing more of the GPU now, but we are running into a bottleneck. You see my GPU is only at 87%. So keep that in mind. If you have a Vega 64, you have a faster CPU than the i3, you will be seeing more a slightly, not much more, but there will be, there is performance on the table that's still being left on the table if you're not playing at like the high settings or whatever. But it's not much, because look at that. Look at me playing from low to high, and it's practically the same damn thing. Quality, let's turn that down. Obviously, once again, go back down for that. Very high, nope, we're gonna go to medium. Very high, no, we're gonna do high. We're gonna leave everything else, I think, because I don't really feel like they affect anything. FSR, let it load in. It's capped to 30 frames per second because it does that, and it's better. Wait, now I'm getting over 70 frames. This game's weird. This game is weird. It's weird in how it does this. I actually don't know what's going on. So quality, for some reason, is doing better than... Right, it's not a bottleneck anymore, but... I mean, it's giving me 60 frames per second. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget, please leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.